We are excited to hear from two talented, award-winning broadcasters, each iconic fixtures in the life of radio, television, and the silver screen. John St. Augustine, who graduated in 1992 with a degree from the University Without Walls program, is the author of Every Moment Matters and Living an Uncommon Life. He is an award-winning producer and broadcaster whose credits include The Dr. Oz Show, the Sirius XM satellite radios, Oprah and Friends, and is a proud alumnus with a telling journey about risk-taking that he will share with you tonight. Bill Kurtis is, of course, a legendary broadcaster, anchor, and host of a number of documentaries on PBS, History Channel, and A&E. He served as our commencement speaker in 1979 here at Northeastern, and also came back in 2014 to deliver an address during our alumni reunion called Death by Food. Kurtis founded Tall Grass Beef Company in 2002 to champion the environment and the health benefits of grass-fed cattle ranching. Together, John and Bill have worked on many endeavors, including their passion for conservation education and the human impact on planet Earth. They are partners on Earth Matters, a series of 1-minute vignettes on environmental issues that airs on WCPT, AM, and FM in Chicago. After the event, John will be selling merchandise and signing books out in the back, so we do hope that you purchase something and get something signed. Without making you all wait any longer, please join me in welcoming both Bill and John. Thank you.
I don't know whose idea it was to put iconic next to my name. I was here in none of your damn business what year I first came here. But I was here in '79 when he came and did the commencement address, but I wasn't taking classes at that point. I was majoring in minor things, if you get my drift. Glad to be here with you tonight. This is very different for me. I've done some great things. A lot of it comes from what I learned here, not so much in the class, which was part of it, but the people and the culture and the support that I got as a student coming out of high school, and then as a returning student, as a veteran. I had a couple of U-turns in my life. I was hit by a drunk driver at 80 miles an hour 2 weeks after I got married, and I couldn't work. Can't write, can't work. Might as well go into politics, I think. But anyway, I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm not, but it's a whole other talk I give, and we'll just leave that right there. But I thought maybe I should go back to school. So I came here, I went to get checked out, and as a veteran, you know, at that time the state still had money. They had a balanced budget in 1988. And I came back to school, and interesting to me, I'm like a straight arrow. I need a foundation that I can go. And interesting enough, I took all the classes that my counselor said, here, take these, because I had, you know, when I left here in '78, I had like Blutarski Animal House grade average, 0.00, never went to class. I'm just being honest with you. I was busy. And, but I came back and they gave me, here, take these classes in 120 credits or whatever it is, and I took exactly what they said. Lessons in that, kids. Things aren't always going to go the way you want them to go, no matter how hard you work. And I know that Bill can attest to that. In the business that we're in, it's challenging to say the least, especially with all the technology these days. So I often go back to Professor, I'm not going to say his name in case he's still here, and I think of him, about how much effort I put in and whether people understand or recognize that I even show up when we do these Earth Matters, or I go out and do talks or write books or whatever. Because the truth is, even with 100 more people in here, only 1 or 2 of you are actually going to take any value of anything I say anyway. That's the odds. I came here for a couple people, and I'm glad to be here. It's glad to be back, but I've been doing this 25 years. And when I graduated, my degree, even though I hadn't started any of this work or written any books or worked with Dr. Oz or Oprah, all that stuff, was environmental interpretation and communication. Because I started to look in between the lines. I look in between the lines, see? And most people are looking at the headlines. I'm looking for the lifelines. And when you look in between the lines of the stuff that's going on and you're able to extract information, and then you give that information to people, especially in short form, or like he does in documentaries, you'd be amazed what information can lead to transformation. And so that's really what it's all about. That's what I came here tonight to share, was that I'm not kidding about the lunch and gym being some of my best grades. But once you hook into what you're here to do on the planet, things can start happening. But it's the path there is really, I can't say it's always the reward. Paychecks are great too. But the bottom line is, when you're doing what you're supposed to do, you don't spend a whole lot of time in the stuff you're not supposed to do. And when you're not doing that, and you can focus on what you're going to do while you're here, you go from looking at everything under a microscope, which will give you a major headache, and looking at things through a telescope.
From the surface, they look clean enough, the rivers that run through the cities and towns of America. But a recent study by the EPA shows that high levels of phosphorus and nitrogen are putting the 1.2 million miles of streams and rivers surveyed under stress. The past 44 years have brought stricter regulations on what corporations can dump into our waterways. But the latest EPA study shows that 55% of the streams and rivers surveyed are not suitable for aquatic life, mostly due to fertilizer runoff, rendering these arteries of Earth sterile. You can do your part by using organic fertilizers on your lawn and in the garden, because the old adage that what goes around comes around isn't just a cliche. It's a way of life or death, especially when it comes to our water supply. I'm Bill Curtis with Earth Matters. There was once a town in the heart of America where all life seemed to be in harmony with its surroundings. The town lay in the midst of a checkerboard of prosperous farms, with fields of grain and hillsides of orchards where white clouds of bloom drifted above the green land. In autumn, oak and maple and birch set up a blaze of color that flamed and flickered across a backdrop of pines. Even in winter, the roadsides were places of beauty, where countless birds came to feed on the berries and on the seed heads of the dried weeds rising above the snow. And then, one spring, things began to change. What would happen if we returned Illinois to a real prairie state? The tall grasses and the wild flowers stretching as far as you could see. It's not an easy answer, but I can help, because coming up in some of the order of pictures, you will see pictures by a man named Mike McDonald, who took photographs of native prairie. There's more to Earth Day than having a vegan burger. Educate yourself on some of the ideas that I've given you today. I would love that. Build an argument. And then, you really want to make something happen? Contact Senator Dick Durbin and your local politicians. Tell them I sent you. You may shake your head and feel frustrated, but you shouldn't. In 50 years, I've learned that protests work. Letters to your congressman work. That's how they get information and learn. And your vote works. It's a quid pro quo. Could we change one more? As for the prairie, in my home state of Kansas, let's change again. We had a columnist who was named Zula Bennington Green who said it best. You are flatlanders. You are prairie people, whether you like it or not. The prairie that starts here doesn't end until it reaches the middle of Kansas. It goes south into Oklahoma, a little bit into Texas, north into Canada, 170 million acres. She described it as, the prairie is not the gorgeous woman you dreamed would someday be yours, but she is mystery and tenderness and strength and rapture. And suddenly you know that this is what you wanted all your life. Do it.